All right. So, as a hiring manager, one of the first things that I did when I met somebody was ask them, tell me a little bit about yourself. And you would be surprised how many people struggled within the first 10 seconds to answer that question. I don't want that to happen to you. So, we're going to spend some time in advance talking about how to describe who you are. The idea here is to be able to create a story about yourself that describes you and who you are and how you show up. So often I would ask that question, I would have them immediately jump into their skills and to their job qualifications. This is actually going to go back a little step before that to describe who you are as a person. All right, here comes the fun part. We are going to spend some time teaching you why identity is important and how to express it and how to curate these characteristics out of you. And it's actually a pretty simple exercise. You'll probably need a piece of paper for each of these sections, and we're going to be asking you some questions, and you're going to be writing some answers. So for identity, we're literally trying to get an idea and help you get an idea of who you are and put that down on paper. So the first thing would be answering the question, who am I? Of course, you'd want to start by putting down your name, putting down a nickname, putting down your full name, your full legal name, and then start listing attributes. Here are some questions. What characteristics make me me? What are my talents? What are some of my personal preferences? How do I show up? Another good way to explore this is answering the question of who do I admire most and why? What we're looking for is a list of characteristics that describe you. So you might say, I've heard people say that I'm impeccable with my word. I'm kind. I'm generous. I'm thoughtful. I am loyal. I'm determined. I am. I'm tenacious. Sometimes I can be unfriendly or lazy, and you might find some of those negative words come out. Go ahead and write all those down and see how many you can come up with. We're looking for at least 10 or so. And the more, and if there's some that you have that are related to business, we absolutely want to see those in there. So if you have a clear vision, if you have strong leadership, innovation, adaptability, certainly put those in because we're going to use those. You also might find keywords that resonate with you from job applications. So you can insert those as well, like efficiency, or you have good risk management skills. Those might be in there as well. Or you're a natural leader or a teacher. Pick the ones that resonate with you and add some of your own. If you need to ask other people, go ahead and ask them so that you get an idea of who you are. I want you to just go through and start circling attributes that resonate with you. If you see any that are negative, that's all right. All you need to do is flip those 180 degrees, and that is the truth about you. And that's what's developing in you. So do not worry if you have some negative things down there like lazy or sometimes you procrastinate. Those are just good for you to know that those are developing talents and developing skills. And they also could be warning signs of when you get stressed or when you get frustrated that you can work on. Danielle, you've been through this exercise. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay, well, I've got my notebook here, and you can see, I don't know if this reads, you can see I've got, who am I? Just I wrote at the top of my notebook. And I started with identity. And I wrote identity, and I started to go down and write some of the things that made me me. An example is I'm a change agent, I'm a transitional character, and I'm compassionate, and I strive to do what is right. I tried to write down things that stuck out to me about who I am, how I show up toward other people, and that kind of stuff. And that's how I went about doing it.
Okay, terrific. These don't necessarily, as you can tell, don't necessarily have to be business related. In fact, it might be wise to actually start by writing some of these interpersonal kinds of characteristics and then add to it how they show up in a business setting as well. Because believe it or not, they say business is business, but it's actually personal as well. And you're bringing your personality to the business. And that can be an attribute or it can be a liability, but you want to know both because no one is the perfect human being. So, okay, going to this level of investigation of who you are and what your cause is may seem like a little bit of overkill. So let me explain why we're doing this. I want you to be in a job that is a genuine match for who you are and what you want. So many people will just get into a job to get the paycheck. And then they find themselves not contributing a lot. They feel dissatisfied because they actually find themselves in a job that isn't helping them move toward their goals. And then it becomes just a albatross around their neck. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to drift or find yourself having to back up and restart doing this. So rather than prepare all the resume and the suit and the tie as a cardboard stand-up so that you get the job, I want you to know who you are. So when you show up, you present yourself and your cause in a story that you can easily evaluate and the hiring manager can evaluate to see if there's a good fit for both of you. When that happens, it's magic. You no longer are trying to prove yourself so you can get the job. You're actually having a conversation and a connection. And then the invitation will naturally come to come in for another interview or to entertain a job offer. And that's what I want for you. So having done this background work will create confidence in you so that you are genuinely there when you're representing your resume in paper, and you're genuinely there when you're in face-to-face with your first interview. Okay, one more tip here that I want to share is you don't need this job. If you show up feeling like this is needy or please hire me, that vibe is absolutely going to show through, and that's going to be a weak spot for you. So when you show up, I want you to show up in the mode of this is what I have to offer. When that happens, you are going to attract the very thing that you're looking for instead of pushing it away. Show up with the feeling of and the messaging that this is what I have to offer. If they take it or not, that is not relevant. I want you to show up with that confidence so you look attractive and they want to invite you into their story, invite you into their company, invite you into an offer. You will create yourself opportunities that may not even be on the job board when you do that. It's magic sauce. So practice that and do it by investing in the time to figure out who you are and what you really want. That is what will create the relationship that brings you into an organization that serves you while you serve them.